I was talking to you during the commercial break. We started talking about your husband, very talented, Benioff, who's co-creator of Game of Thrones, and a very talented guy. And I was just curious, if your husband is the co-creator of that show, how tempted are you to try and get information from him about what's going on in the show? I would think that would be... My wife doesn't care what happens on my show. She really doesn't, you know? I could come home with an arrow through my head and she'd be like, whatever. But clearly, people are obsessed with Game of Thrones. You must be trying to find stuff out.
Well, Andrea, who's Dan's wife, and I, we don't look ahead. So we don't look at dailies and we don't read scripts. So we're basically fans just like everybody else.
You're talking about the two, so the other co-creator, his wife, you just watch the show like any civilian.
Yes, we watch the show like normal civilians. Mm-hmm. So I started seeing on the internet at the end of last season these little things about Jon Snow, whether I started hearing, you know, is something going to happen to Jon Snow? And I had had many conversations with David where I basically said, if you do that, I'm literally not going to be here the next day. Like, I will pack my bags and leave because I love Jon Snow, and I'm also with him. And you made me be with him, and now you can't take him away because it's just cheap and dumb. And
you're saying this to the co-creator, this is great, who's your husband, and you're telling him, don't screw with Jon Snow, right?
Yes. So basically, I read somewhere that he had cut his hair, and so I got terrified because they were still shooting. And so he said, don't worry, I promise, don't worry.
Like cutting his hair might mean that he's taking a different role, that he's gonna move on.
Yes, thank you, yes. Yeah. And so I said, send me a picture of him where you're with him, where he has the Jon Snow haircut, and then I will rest my case.
Right.
So he texted me a picture, and 2 weeks later, he was dead. So he
sent you a fake...
He faked me out.
He sent you a fake picture.
He did.
Yeah. So what happened
That's
then?
what I'm dealing with in my marriage.
Yeah. Well,
now I know why your kid's an asshole.
Yeah, I know.
Obviously hereditary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is, okay, so he comes home, and that episode aired. What happened? What did you say to your husband?
He wasn't here, and I called Andrea, and was like, have you seen it?
Right.
And we basically just staged an intervention with them.
Right. Where you said,
you better find a way to bring him back. I don't care what it takes. I don't care how you do it. You got to do it.
Right.
Or else you can be gay with each other. Why is that so funny?
I like that.
I just like that that's their choice. Well, might as well. Spending all this time together anyway.
That's what our wives say to us all the time, Andy and I. You know, guys, don't straighten out. You can be gay together. And Andy, you're like, all right.
Okay. Sure, why not?
Okay, let's do it.